Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبيه ومصطفاه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to another new edition of Ask Huda. I would like to remind you with our phone numbers and contact informations. The phone numbers beginning with area code 002-0238-555, 248 or 249. The email address is ask@huda.tv, and our Facebook page is www.facebook.com/msalahofficial. Also, I would like to share with you the good news, inshallah Azza Jal. Hopefully tomorrow will begin a brand new program, a live program. The program will be called Gardens of the Pious. It is pertaining the marvelous collection of Riyadh al-Salihin for Al-Imam al-Nawawi. May Allah have mercy on him. The first segment will be an explanation of chapter by chapter of this marvelous book, and the second segment will be more than happy to take your life calls and concerns. So inshallah Azza Jal, beginning tomorrow, Wednesday, the 2nd of January, inshallah we'll have around the same time of Ask Huda a new program, live program, and the program will be called Gardens of the Pious. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teach us what we don't know and help us to act upon what we learn. Ameen. May Allah grant us the useful knowledge which will take us to His paradise. Ameen. Once again, we have one pending question and a bunch of emails. I just heard we have 18,000 emails, questions. MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah. May Allah make it easy for us to answer those questions. Muhnaz has a question, and the question says, is it true that there is a hadith which states that the effect of three things said in joke are to be taken seriously, one of which is divorce? Yes, indeed. The hadith is collected by Abu Dawood, Tirmidhi, and others, and the hadith is judged as a fair hadith or a Hasan hadith by Shaykh al-Albani. May Allah have mercy on him. In this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ has said, ثَلَاثٌ جَدُّهُنَّ جَدٌّ وَهَزْلُهُنَّ جَدٌّ. There are three things which, if you pronounce them or you say them seriously, yani you mean what you say, or while joking, جَدُّهُنَّ جَدٌّ and هَزْلُهُنَّ جَدٌّ, or even if you're joking, they become effective and you bear the consequences of your statement even if you were joking. The first is al-nikah, the second is al-talaq, the third is al-raj'ah. As far as al-nikah is known, marriage. So we say to those who play some plays or stand on the theater, and a person proposes to a woman or to her guardian, and he says, yeah, I give you my daughter in marriage, that is actually marriage. Similarly, if a couple, an actor and an actress, were playing in the same play, and he says to his wife, you're divorced. Well, we have seen this many times in Arabic plays. In this case, she is divorced. You cannot say, well, I was acting, I was joking, I did not mean it. And the third is al-raj'ah. So, marriage, divorce, and al-raj'ah is revoking the divorce within the iddah period. If somebody divorces his wife first time, or the second time, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, الطلاق مرتان. The divorce, which is raj'i, revocable, reversible, is only twice. So if after the first or the second divorce, and within the iddah, which is 3 periods or 3 athar, the person who divorced his wife said, raja'tuki, or I decided to return you back to my marriage life. He cannot say later on, I was joking, I did not mean it. If he pronounces that word, then it becomes effective. And what will be the effect of that? If he divorces her again, then that is a second divorce or perhaps a third divorce, depending on how many times he uttered the word divorce before. So that indicates that we should take marriage, divorce and raj'ah seriously. It is not a joke. It is not a play. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, whether you really mean it or not, whenever you pronounce any of the three statements, they become effective and you should bear their consequences. Sister Asia from the KSA, last episode, day before yesterday, she said about some Muslim leaders who were in a particular church in Beit Lahem, perhaps this is what she said, and they were celebrating Christmas, attending the service, the religious ceremony and the service. And she also stated that they said this is also our holiday or celebration, etc. She says, what does Islam say about that? In the beginning, I would like to share with you that in Surah Al-Furqan, among the traits of the most merciful, the traits of Ibadur Rahman, in ayah number 72, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَشْهَدُونَ الزُّورَ وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِاللَّغْوِ مَرُّوا كِرَامًا. وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَشْهَدُونَ الزُّورَ, and those who do not attend falsehood. And if they pass by any vain talk or action, they pass by swiftly, they do not hang around, they do not attend it. مَرُّوا كِرَامًا, they do not become a part of it. وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَشْهَدُونَ الزُّورَ وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِاللَّغْوِ مَرُّوا كِرَامًا. So this ayah indicates, as we have some Mufassirin, Ibn Sirin or Mujahid from amongst the Tabi'een who said, this is pertaining the religious holidays and celebrations, religious festivals of non-Muslims, because it is based on religion. And we are, as Muslims, believe that their religion is not the truth. And what they worship is not the true God. This is pertaining any other religion other than Islam. Because for a Muslim, we should believe ultimately that Islam is the only religion. وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Allah made it very clear in the Quran. Whoever seeks or takes a religion other than Islam, it will not be accepted from him. And he will be amongst the losers on the Day of Judgment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said, إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ. The only deen which is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Islam. I'd like to continue after the following phone calls. Assalamu alaikum, the first caller. Brother Muhammad from the KSA.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi, sir. How are you, sir?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine, Brother Muhammad. Barakallahu feek.
Sir, I have one question and a request for two advice, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, my first question is, someone offered me to be settled in Italy, but as a Muslim, I do not prefer to go there and to be settled there.
Yeah.
Because it is very difficult to practice Islam there. So,
Yeah.
so will I choose this offer or not? And the second thing is, when I pray, I try to keep my intention in the salah, but however, something else coming to my mind, and I cannot, I cannot keep my mind completely in my salah. How can I do it? And the third one is, sometimes I think that I need to learn more Islamic knowledge, and I need to study in Islam, but from which step I can start to learn and to study about Islam. And
where you living right now, are you happy and content, Muhammad?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, shukla. Jazakallah khairan. This is barakallah fikum. Brother Ridwan from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, Ridwan.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have a quickly have 2 or 3 questions.
Now,
The first one is, I wonder why in mosque now, both in Saudi Arabia and even here in Nigeria, there is no, the Mu'addin no longer performs the role that he used to perform during the prayer. Except, but ironically, both in Kaaba and the Prophet's mosque in Medina, the Mu'addin plays full role. So I don't know the reason for that.
the mu'adhin does what exactly? You mean because he calls adhan with a melodious voice and so on?
During the prayer, after the Imam says Allahu Akbar,
You're talking about the muballigh, the person who conveys the takbir of the imam. After the imam makes takbir, the mu'adhin conveys. Okay.
yes, exactly. That's what I mean.
What is the problem with that?
It doesn't. The practice is no longer there in most of our mosques.
Because
Saudi
it is not needed. It is only practiced whenever it is needed. But if a mosque has only 1 or 2 lines, or all the musallin happen to pray within the masjid, so there is no need for a muballigh if every person could hear the imam. We resort to use a microphone or the speakers so that the audience could hear. But if there is only a little number, there is no need for it. Similarly, the mu'adhin would convey, reiterate what the imam says of the takbir, and after the tasmi', saying Sami Allahu liman hamida, we say Rabbana wa lakal hamd, in order to inform not those who are praying in the masjid and they could hear the imam, but those who are praying distant from the masjid but within the same jama'ah, behind the same imam. And we have experienced that because the voice echoes. So sometimes when the imam is going for sujood, the voice will fade. There comes the role of the muballigh, where he's prolonging the takbir, saying Allahu Akbar, will echo so that everybody will hear. Yani the idea of at-tabligh, or conveying the takbirat of the movement from rising to sitting and sitting to standing and so on, has a reason. So the effective cause of that is to convey. If there is no need for it, then it shouldn't be done. Okay, Brother Ridwan? Now.
No.
Jazakallahu khairan. Do you have any other questions?
No. The second question.
Now.
Is it wrong to pray on a praying mat which is made of silk?
If you pray on a prayer mat which is made of silk, it is haram. Not only to pray, but also to sit or sleep or cover yourself up with it. Okay? That is not permissible. That if it is real silk, like if it is one of the genuine silk, of course. But there are a lot of acrylics which the touch feels like silk, but it is not silk. The prohibition or the restriction does not apply to that. We're talking about the actual silk. Okay? Barakallahu feek. Jazakumullah. Sister Nadia from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, first of all, I want to say thank you to you because I called in Ramadan. And alhamdulillah, after your suggestion, my husband has beard now.
MashaAllah.
He stopped shaving the same day when I asked the question on the...
Alhamdulillah. Doesn't he look nicer?
Sorry?
Doesn't he look nicer now with the beard?
Yeah, of course, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
I told him before that, inshallah, you will look nice, but he was not listening. Alhamdulillah, after your program, he has beard now.
Alhamdulillah.
So, now my question is, actually my brother, he is in America for so many years. So, before he went for study, the master in his degree, and after that he stayed there, and alhamdulillah, he's so practicing Muslim. He has beard, very long beard, and he is getting the knowledge of Islam, and he's really maybe more than better than we are here in Saudi, but I feel that we cannot say who is better. But anyhow, today I was discussing with him that I heard from Dr. Muhammad Salah and Sheikh Hasim about staying in the West, that only for 3 purposes you can go, so you should not take the nationality. This year he will get nationality. So the same matter I was discussing with my elder brother. He's going to Canada this year, and he has also this thinking that he will stay there for 3-4 years and get the nationality and come back maybe. But when I was discussing, so he also told me one story that one Sahabi, he came to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and he said that I want to migrate in Medina because he accepted Islam. But Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that you go back to your area and stay with your people if you can practice there. And he went back. So he was asking me, then after that, anyhow, we stopped discussion and I told him that I will ask today from Dr. Muhammad Salah.
No.
He told that ask him that is it fard on the Muslims in West to migrate to the Muslim countries?
Okay.
So this is the main question.
Barakallah.
And my second question is, if anyone say you Happy New Year like today or 1st January, so what should we answer? I didn't say anything, I just kept quiet. How we will, they are also Muslims.
Okay.
If they say like this, what should we answer?
Okay.
And can we say happy birthday to anyone just to say, not
Okay.
to celebrate? Because my brother, my son, he has birthday on Thursday after tomorrow, and he wants to eat pizza, and I told him no, we cannot celebrate. So what shall I tell him?
Yeah.
Just please tell me these answers.
He wants to eat. He wants to eat what on his birthday?
Sorry, hello?
You said he wants to eat what on his birthday?
Pizza. He wants to eat pizza.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I said you can eat any day, but why especially on that day? So he said, I have birthday, I want to eat pizza. So I just wanted to ask you, if we want to eat something special on the birthdays, is it okay just inside of our family, no outside, nothing, not to call the guests, just inside the home, I mean, like that, within our family members. Is it permissible? I will wait for my answer.
Okay, Sister Nadia from the KSA, thank you so much. Jazakumullah khair. I want to go back to Ridwan from Nigeria, since we're talking about the janamaz, the prayer rug, if you know what I mean. Sajadatul Salah. In fact, there is nothing that requires us to pray on a janamaz. Yani sometimes we make a point that we have to spread the prayer rug like the prayer will be invalid without it. That's not true. If the rug, the huge rug that you put in your, or the carpet in your house is already clean by the meaning that it is tahir, the cleanness means a tahara. It was not soiled with any urine drops, with any najasa, impurities, then you can pray anywhere. Wood floor, marble, tiles, clean, pray. وَجُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا. To keep in mind that in order to offer the prayer, you have to have a prayer rug. That is not true. The second, pertaining the prayer rug. We've seen, mashallah, China have made everything for us. I'm afraid that they're going to print the Quran for Muslims too. It's very sad that several million people come to perform Hajj, and tens of millions come to perform Umrah throughout the year, and we cannot make our own thawb. Everything is... So the prayer rugs with decorations, with drawings and pictures, the Kaaba on one side and the Prophetic Masjid on one side, Jerusalem in the middle, and all of that, I dislike all of that. Why? Because Brother Muhammad from the KSA was talking about struggling in order to gain khushu', tranquility and serenity in the prayer. This is one of the most important reasons and causes of distraction in the salah. Looking around, examining the picture, living with the image on the prayer rug. And the Prophet ﷺ, as he was praying, there was a curtain which had an image of a bird. Once he finished, he took it off and he said to Aisha radiallahu anha, it distracted my attention in the prayer. Tear it apart, make it a liner in a cushion or something. So we have to really learn more about our deen in order to enjoy practicing the sunnah, not the cultural tradition. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Samah from Ukraine, welcome back. How are you, Brother Samah?
I'm fine too. Alhamdulillah for the answer.
Naam.
Yeah, but I'm calling back to get some clarification from you, Sheikh.
Naam.
You made mention of the prayers and the book in particular. I had all the book and I've been practicing those prayers because I contacted you about 2 years ago when you started this ijaza.com stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Pardon me. I didn't get the question. What happened 3 years ago?
2 years ago, I contacted you through ijaza.com.
Okay.
Okay, but now the clarification I'm asking is, I'm going through difficulties. So the question is, how will I know this is the test from God, or it's a punishment for my sins, or maybe it's myself or somebody working against me?
No.
One. The second one is the effort I'm making in worship. How will I know if they are pleasing to God, or whether God is happy with me or is angry with me? Then the third question is, if I'm seeking a job, a particular job, is it permissible in Islam to insist on that job and ask God to give me that job, and if there is any fault with the job, to make the job good for me?
طيب. نعم, جزاك الله خيرا, brother Sami. A few clarifications. Number one, I have nothing to do with the website or the project of Ijaza. I did record about 10 episodes for them, have our each, and that was it. Because I don't get involved in any business that really based on money or whatever. So in the beginning, yes, I did record for them, but a couple weeks later, I announced and I declared I have nothing to do with it. I don't have an email account. I don't have a Facebook address or page other than the one which I announced in the beginning of the program, which is M. Salah Official. Okay? Second, I just returned from the UK, and subhanAllah, in Birmingham, an owner of a bookstore said, I'm selling your stuff. I said, what stuff? He said, the program, the Prophet's Prayer, and so on. I said, I did not authorize nor allow any person to sell anything. All our products are fi sabilillah. We do not sell anything. So when you see some people are selling our materials, and they make people perceive that this is for the sake of Huda TV and so on, this is not true. This is not true, absolutely. I'm not selling any single lecture or program of our programs. Yes, they have a system here to give the programs to certain members or supporting the channel and so on, but we're not selling anything, at least until this moment. There was a suggestion that to have the programs copied on DVDs and to be ready for sale, but we don't have it yet. So I'm trying to clarify one thing, that we do not sell any of our items. I personally do not sell any of my programs, nor authorize any person, because people actually sign up contracts with some strangers to sell, like the Prophet's Prayer, for instance. We do not authorize that, we do not allow that, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take care of the people who do that in our name. May Allah guide them. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Sister Jamila from Nigeria. Welcome to Ask Huda. Go ahead. Naam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ustaz, my question is, if a sister should trim her hair, does she have to fast for 3 days, or she doesn't?
Okay, if a sister does what? Trim her hair?
Yes.
What do you mean trim her hair, and what does this have to do with the fasting?
No, apart not with the fasting, just on a normal day, she trims her hair, and then does she have to fast for 3 days?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question. Can you rephrase it, please?
If a sister should trim her hair, does she have to fast for 3 days?
No, trimming the hair for a woman is permissible as long as it does not go beyond the shoulders, or shorter than that, or above the shoulders. That's called the wafra. So she would still look like a woman, but getting a haircut or trimming the hair to the extent that she would look like a male, that is prohibited. And there is a great severe warning against that. The Prophet ﷺ have cursed a woman who is mutarajjilah or rajila. She would resemble men. She would look like men, either by haircut, the way she dresses, cross-dressing, the way she acts, the way she talks. She's created as a female, she should act and behave as a female. Likewise, the male should behave as a male, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created him. But if a woman does this error, she's blameworthy, al-istighfar will be sufficient. There is no specified penalty such as fasting, as you just mentioned. That's why I wanted you to repeat the question, because I may have misheard it, but it was very obvious that you really meant that she have to fast for 3 days. No. Fasting for 3 days is prescribed by the Quran as one of the alternative kafara or ransom penalty in case of breaking a vow or an oath, which is called al-yaminul mun'aqida. Okay? If a person fails to feed or clothe 10 masakin, then the other alternative is to fast for 3 days, and it doesn't have to be consecutive. Barakallahu fiki, Sister Jamila. Brother Ridwan from United Arab Emirates, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Ask Huda.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. Barakallahu feek, Ridwan.
Alhamdulillah. I have 2 questions, sir.
Yeah.
The first question is, what is the ruling for taking the children to the graveyard to attend the Muslim funeral? I mean, what age, etc.?
Okay. What is the purpose? Let me ask you first.
No, attend the funeral means I have to take my children to show them the procedures and...
Okay.
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 The second question is, in India, while coming back from the graveyard after attending the funeral, most of the people, they take bath. Unless and they take bath, they don't touch anything, they don't eat anything. What is the ruling on this?
They don't eat anything?
Yeah, they don't eat anything, they don't touch anything. Even some families, they don't allow to come inside the home. They keep water or something outside, and they have to take ghusl or they have to wash. They have to go for this cleaning the body, and then only they have to come inside.
Okay. I got your question. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's take a short break. Inshallah, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Please stay tuned.
We're still at the dentist clinic. Dr. Ashraf is our host. Dr. Ashraf, now you have the patient, and we've been talking about the sterilization and the care for the tools, either the disposables and the non-disposables. And one of the very important, most advanced tools for the dentist is the microscope.
And one of these things is very important, that we can take this image and we can freeze it so that my patient can join me and discuss with me the different treatment options that we have.
Being exposed to burn is considered to be a catastrophe, and some people would have the burn at home, some others would be exposed to it in the streets and at work as a factory or other places. And learning how to deal with the burn and how to manage the case, either going to the doctor or just to manage it as an emergency and then going to a specialized person to deal with it, is a mandatory for all of us.
This is one of the most dangerous causes of burn, because I'm not only exposed to the heat, I'm exposed to smokes. These smokes may aid to the injury of the skin.
Al-Khallaq is the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran in Surah Hijr, Surah number 15, ayat number 86. Al-Khallaq is the superlative of Khaliq. He is the master creator. Don't you see how we have created the camels? Allah used especially the camel. Why? Because there are so many scientific facts. This animal is unique. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inviting us. Al-Khallaq is the one who created the camel. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah has 99 names, 100 minus 1. Whoever comprehends them will have Jannah. The supreme name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Allah. Allah is the greatest name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We talked about Al-Ahad, its meaning and its implication upon us. We talked about Al-A'la, Al-Akram, Al-Awwal, Al-Akhir, Al-Zahir, Al-Batin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided everything on the face of the earth for us to do good. In order to do good, we need to first recognize the one who is the source of all goodness, and that is Al-Barr.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to the second segment of today's edition of Ask Huda. Once again, I would like to remind you, brothers and sisters, tomorrow at the same time, inshallah, of Ask Huda, we'll begin and we'll launch our very first episode of the program of Gardens of the Pious, an explanation of the marvelous book of Riyadul Salihin for Al-Imam al-Nawawi. May Allah have mercy on him, and may Allah make it easy for us to accomplish this goal, inshallah. It will be a live show on every Wednesday, inshallah, from tomorrow and on. Before the break, we have a bunch of questions. The first was from Muhammad from the KSA, that he's living in Saudi Arabia and somebody is trying to convince him to migrate to Italy and work and establish his life there. I asked him, are you happy there in Saudi? He said, yes, alhamdulillah, shukrullah. Happiness stemming from being able to observe your religious duties freely. Then in this case, why would you exchange it for the lesser? There is no comparison. You would only hear the ringing of the bells of the churches. You would only see the crosses. You will not hear the adhan anywhere. In order to hear the adhan, you have to be in the Islamic center or in the masjid, if you find any, and inside and before the time, in order to hear the adhan. I keep saying that for those who are living in the Gulf, expats, and they're dying to migrate to the West, you don't know what you'll be missing if you ever miss hearing the adhan and having the opportunity to pray 5 times a day. There are even some Muslim countries where you cannot hear the adhan in them, and you're not allowed to go to offer Salatul Jumu'ah, even if you are in a school or at work in a Muslim country. So if you are in a place where alhamdulillah wa shukrullah, you're able to attend the prayer and you enjoy listening to the adhan, you find a good company, a good peer, then settle where you are. Inna Allah huwa al-razzaq dhul quwwat al-mateen. The rizq is controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only and alone. Al-Hijrah, because we have Sister Nadia from the KSA, her brother was living in the States, she had a dispute with him. She said that you shouldn't make hijrah to a non-Muslim country except for one of 3 reasons, which we discussed before. And he says that somebody accepted Islam and he wanted to move to Al-Madinah, and the Prophet ﷺ said, no, go back and live with your family. And that is true. But you forgot one thing. He was originally from this locality, so the Prophet ﷺ sent him back so he can teach his people. Okay? Not the other way around. And amongst the 3 reasons which legitimize migrating to a non-Muslim land, any non-Muslim land, is a da'wah. If you're going with the sole purpose of giving da'wah, inviting people to Islam, teaching people about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is a legitimate reason. We stay there and we travel and we stay there. That is very legitimate, no problem. Seeking knowledge which is not available in any Muslim country, fine as well. Treatment likewise. But traveling to a non-Muslim country, giving up on the pleasure and the luxury of observing your religious duties freely, just to seek extra provision or whatever, this is what's not allowed. So Al-Hijrah has one of the following 3 ahkam. It may be a must if the person accepted Islam or is a Muslim in a non-Muslim land where he or she is not able to practice their deen. They are oppressed, persecuted. They cannot pray freely. A woman cannot wear hijab. A man cannot avoid working in the haram. And they are able to migrate to a Muslim land and they will be welcome there. In this case, it's a must. It's a wajib. Then, the second hukm, it becomes mere permissible. If the person is local in a non-Muslim society, accepted Islam, and he is able to practice their deen, they go to the Islamic centers freely. A woman, if she decided to wear hijab, that's perfectly fine. They're not persecuted on account of religion. In this case, moving to a Muslim land becomes mere permissible. It is not a wajib, because being present in that country give them the power of takfiru sawadi al-Muslimin, increasing the number of the Muslim population, giving da'wah, showing the proper image of Islam, and so on. They become automatically messengers of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Okay? The following, the person will be pardoned if they cannot offer their ibadat, but meanwhile they cannot make hijrah. So in this case, they will be given that excuse, that concession, because they cannot make hijrah. So the first is a wajib. The second is, I wouldn't say just permissible, mustahab. It is recommended still to go to a Muslim land in order to learn your deen, be steadfast on the straight path, and so on. But the third, the person will be allowed to stay where he is, even if it is a non-Muslim country, and he's not able to practice their deen because they don't have the means or the place to migrate to. Then they will be pardoned. Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nada from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh. Sheikh, I have 3 questions about zakah.
Please.
The first one is, there is a preacher in India who says zakah should be given only once in lifetime for gold jewelry, and not every year. And unfortunately, he has many followers.
No.
They ask evidence for otherwise giving every year.
No.
When we say every year we have to give, they ask for evidence, any hadith regarding that.
No.
So how do we explain to them, and could you please give us some hadith regarding this?
Okay.
And number 2, if someone has jewelry more than the nisab level but doesn't have enough income to feed the family, are they eligible for zakah? And third question.
Wait a minute. So he has a nisab and above the nisab, but he doesn't have the means to feed his family?
Yes. Some people, they keep jewelry, a lot of jewelry.
Are you talking about jewelry?
Yeah, jewelry.
Okay. No.
I mean, they have a lot of jewelry, but they don't have enough wealth, money to spend on their family. Third question, can a married daughter give zakah to her parents?
Okay.
Yeah, that's all 3 questions.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Nada from United Arab Emirates. Brother Sayyid from Case A, welcome to Ask Huda. Sayyid. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay. Brother Said, go ahead.
Excuse me? I cannot listen to you.
Yeah, Sayyid, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. How old are you, Sayyid?
I'm 11 years old.
MashaAllah. Barakallah feek, Sayyid, and welcome to Ask Huda. Do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question regarding the mirror.
Regarding?
Mirror.
Mirath.
Mirror.
A mirror. Okay, go ahead and present your question. I may understand it.
My question is regarding the mirror.
Go ahead and ask the question.
Sorry?
Okay. If you have a question pertaining mirror,
my question is, can we see the mirror after Maghrib?
Yes, you can see the mirror. You look in the mirror to adjust yourself, fix your hair in the mirror before Maghrib or after Maghrib. There is no problem with that. Barakallah feek. Okay. Don't be surprised, because there are a lot of people who have certain cultural practices, and these practices are firm in their mind that this is a deen. Like they cannot sweep the floor after Maghrib. They cannot clean up the house after Maghrib. You cannot clean up in the evening. They cannot get haircut in the evening. And Brother Ridwan from United Arab Emirates, who called earlier pertaining children attending the funeral, and he said that they have this tradition back home that if they attend a funeral, they cannot enter their house, they cannot enter the room, they cannot enter whatever, or touch anything, nor can they eat anything until they perform ghusl. That has no reference whatsoever in the deen. It has nothing to do with our Islam. Sheikh Al-Albani, may Allah have mercy on him, said that it is mustahab, it is recommended for the person who washes the deceased, who gives a ghusl to the deceased, mustahab, to take a bath, to do ghusl. So it becomes recommended. And a person who carries the funeral to the graveyard and assists in burying the funeral, it is recommended to make wudu, but it is not obligatory. Right? So to say for every person who attended the funeral, they cannot touch anything, they cannot enter their house, they cannot eat, they cannot enter whatever before they take ghusl, that is not true. Okay? The mirror, yeah, you can see the mirror, but do not stare for a long time to the mirror. Okay? Barakallah feek. Assalamu alaikum, Umar from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh. I have a question.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sir, I had an accident while driving a vehicle.
Yeah.
And during the accident, I hit a motorcycle carrying 2 passengers and they all died. Sir, do I need to do 60 days fasting for each of the person that died? That's 120 fasting?
Yeah, Umar, were you speeding up? Umar, were you speeding up?
Hello?
Umar, were you speeding up?
Okay. No, I wasn't speeding. No, I was driving normally. Okay. Normal driving.
Like, 180 maybe?
I was driving normally.
Okay. Jazakallah khair.
No, 120.
Yeah, Umar, I got your question. Whenever somebody is involved in accident and killing, the kafara plus the diya is due. And the kafara is fasting for 2 consecutive months. Plus at-tawbah, of course. And this kafara is an indication and a reminder that the person have to make tawbah and so on. Do not take it light. So he has killed 2 people. Then the kafara is due, 1 per each person. May Allah make it easy for you. That if the person can fast, of course. Muhammad's second question pertaining khushu' fi as-salah. There is a beautiful book. I hope it's available in English. It may be available in English. 70 reasons for acquiring khushu' in the salah, by His Eminence Sheikh Muhammad Salih al-Munajjid. This is a very beautiful book. You may not really benefit from all the 70 reasons, but there are some very excellent hints. Okay? Very excellent hints. And the program of the Prophet's Prayer, which is available for free, again, on YouTube and many websites, have a lot of indications as how to acquire khushu' in the salah. But what I wanted to emphasize here is, al-khushu' is not something which if you take a tablet, you automatically gain khushu'. Or if you're treated, you recover and you have khushu' and you maintain it for good. No. It's a matter of struggle, jihad. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the end of Surah Al-Ankabut, says, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمَعَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Yes, we need to struggle against our inner desire, against our lust, against ash-shaytan, against anything that distracts our attention in the salah. And this is something that happens on every single prayer. Ash-shaytan is after the person once he says Allahu Akbar until he makes taslim. To the extent that some musallin, some people who pray, they make takbir and they make taslim and they get 0% of their prayer. As the Prophet ﷺ said, a person may finish the prayer and he will only get 10%, 1/10, 1/9, 1/8, 1/7, 1/6, 1/5, 1/4, 1/3, 1/3, and so on, depending on the khushu' and the attendance in the salah. Not only the physical attendance, but also the contemplation, the khushu', the serenity in the prayer, pondering the meaning of ruku' and sujood, making dua, reflecting upon the ayat which are being recited. Among the great means of khushu' is to understand what you're reading, what you're reciting. And Surah Al-Fatiha is the most important surah, Kitab, and I believe every Muslim should understand its meaning, not just the superficial meaning. You open the Noble Quran, you say, praise be to Allah, the Lord of everything that exists. That's not sufficient. Read the full meaning of Surah Al-Fatiha. This is the greatest surah. Read, why do we say Ameen? What is the meaning of Idina Sirat al-Mustaqim? What is the meaning of Iyaka na'budu, not na'buduka? Iyaka na'budu, rather. Wa Iyaka nasta'in. Why do we say stop? So that when you pray, you feel, and this is the case, that you are dialoguing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, and pause. Because Allah would reply to you and say, my servant praised me. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, and pause. Because Allah will reply to you and say, my servant exalted me. Maliki Yawmiddin, then pause. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, my servant glorified me. And so on. So this being active in the prayer, living with the ayat, living with the meaning of tasbih, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. What does it mean? Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. What does it mean to say Sami Allahu liman hamida? What does it mean when the Prophet ﷺ said أقرب ما يكون العبد من ربه وهو ساجد? When you understand that when you make sujood, Satan will sit aside and will cry and say, woe to me, I was commanded to make sujood before him and I refused, and he was commanded and he complied, so he will be saved and I will be destroyed. So enjoy your sujood. فَأَكْثِرُوا مِنَ الدُّعَاءِ وَأَنْتُمْ سُجُودٌ. Ya subhanallah, we have many problems, and we'll talk to this and we'll talk to that. We have problems with our children at school, wife with the doctor, business, manager, employer, employees, whatever. Hence sujood, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to assist you to resolve those issues. أَقْرَبُ مَا يَكُونُ الْعَبْدُ مِنْ رَبِّهِ وَسَاجِدٌ. Because this is the nearest position the servant will be to his Creator. Okay? So these are some of the means which inshallah will grant you khushu', and it requires updating, and to keep up with it, and to keep learning and reminding yourself with them. Keep in mind that al-khushu' does not happen, and it will not be initiated automatically in the prayer. No, it's a status that it should be maintained before the prayer in order to enjoy it within the prayer. Somebody who's sitting and watching a movie, watching belly dancers and listening to music and so on, yeah, it's a prayer time now, Allahu Akbar. Well, do you think this heart is that easy that you can convert it from evil to righteous in a second? No. What were you doing before the prayer would affect the status of your khushu' and your heart in the prayer. Again, if somebody says to you, Happy New Year, I would say same to you. That's different than Happy Christmas and Happy Holidays and all of that, okay? Well, I do not initiate a person by saying so. Our a'yad is Eid al-Fitr wa Eid al-Adha, where we greet and congratulate each other by saying Eid al-Mubarak. May Allah bless you, may Allah make your Eid a happy Eid, and so on. Brother Sami from Ukraine, unfortunately we ran out of time. Inshallah, I would ask the brothers to remind me to answer your question in the beginning of the next episode, similarly with Nada, with regards to her zakah questions. Brothers and sisters, but that will come to the end of today's edition of Ask Huda. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يغفر لي ولكم أجمعين. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance and